Hey piano people, today is super exciting. You get to watch part 2 of Jill's piano lesson. This is a sneak peek into a real piano lesson. And if you saw the first video, then you got to see us drill a couple of pieces from this book called I Used to Play Piano, published by Alfred. Now, Jill is a real student in my studio. We do lessons every single week. So today in part 2, we go over a little bit of a piece called A Little Night Music from pages 36 and 37 of this book. We also go over some rhythmic exercises from Robert Starr's Rhythmic training book that I talk about all the time. I have a whole video on it and I'll link that in the description below. And you get to see me work with her a little bit on some 5-finger patterns that we use for technical exercises all the time in Jill's lessons. Let me know in the comments what you think. It's not often that you get to watch someone else's piano lesson, and it's not often that people get to sit in and observe lessons that I'm teaching. So I'm really curious what your thoughts are. If it's totally different and mind-blowing to you, if it's pretty similar to your experience with lessons, I'd love to know. Enjoy and happy practicing. So we've got A Little Night Music, which is a piece originally written by Mozart. You might recognize the melody. Do you recognize that? Yeah, it's originally written for an entire orchestra. This is a piano version of it. So for this week, I'm going to preface it by saying whenever we recognize a song, it can be a little tricky. Have we done one in this book that you've recognized before?
No.
Okay. So it's awesome because on the one hand, your ear memory or your ear familiarity is already somewhat there because it's somewhat familiar. Even if you don't know it well, you've heard it before. And this is an awesome tool and also can be bad because it makes it fun to learn because we know what it sounds like. And because we have a context for what it sounds like, it can really help us with feeling the piece and with like making it sound musical and things like that. The downside is because we know what it sounds like, it can be more frustrating when it doesn't sound how it's supposed to sound. And it also can be tempting to not do the things that you know how to do in favor of just rushing to get it to sound how it's supposed to sound. So things like counting out loud, because if we're starting this piece and we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, our ear has it does not sound familiar at all, right? Because it's not in the context of how we know it to sound. Okay. But I want you to trust the process that you are getting so comfortable with and so good at, even though you know what this sounds like, and just trust that like within the week, you'll start to hear it. Okay. Yeah. So let's just dive in and try it. Let's count out loud. We'll go nice and slow. There's going to be some tricky things about hands together. But let's try maybe the first 2 lines. And if it's going well, we might try the 3rd line.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. Oh no, what's that note?
That's okay.
That's F and.
Yep, it's F and F. And your right hand moves because you have a pinky. You have a 5 over that F now.
Oh, I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Oh, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh.
That's okay.
There it is.
There it is. Yep. Nice and slow on the second measure.
And then F,
There it is.
Oh, that's painful. So painful.
You got it though. You got it. You made it through. Good.
I don't know my notes.
You do know your notes. It's just really hard when there's a lot going on. And this first part, it's not easy, especially measure 3 and especially measure 8, that one that we were just doing, because there's just a lot of movement happening there. So that's our main theme. And then things change at measure 9. So let's go over just a little bit of like measure 9 and 10, just to see what it's all about. And let's go nice and slow. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's stop for just a second. So make sure we have our 2nd finger on C on this 9.
Okay, 2nd finger on C.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, that's okay. And so it's actually, you're not moving. It's just you stay where you are from that last hand position.
Got it. Okay.
And we have to count this part out loud because it's really easy to lose track of where the left hand and the right hand are together. So let's go nice and slow and count it. So 1, 2,
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Wait, so that goes a C down to a B?
It does. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3. No, that's right. F and G. That's right, right?
Yeah.
B and F and G. Why does it sound bad?
Well, yeah, that's a big question. It's a G7 chord. It's purposefully creating dissonance because if you keep going, we're going to resolve. Yeah, so it's supposed to be there. No, this is a very dancey one, right?
So different when it's slow.
It does. Okay, but we can stop. You get the idea of how this part fits together. And I think the important thing is just slow and counting. Slow and counting, and as a byproduct of going slow and of counting and of making sure that you're playing things accurately, there is going to be a day this week where parts of it click and you say, oh, okay, I hear the song. There it is. And that's what we want.
Okay.
So for this week, I'll give you kind of an open-ended assignment. I want you to just maybe try for like page 1-ish. If it's less than that, if it's just the first 2 lines, that's okay. If it's a little more than that, that's also, of course, okay. But just see how far you get comfortably.
Okay.
And you can work in small sections for sure. Does that sound good?
Page 1, notes and rhythm.
Yes.
Or page 1, notes, rhythm, accents, melody before moving on to page 2.
I would say if you do page 1, notes and rhythm, and then page 2, notes and rhythm, that'll give us a good foundation for like adding all of those other layers next week.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the thing we're always trying to balance is like, we don't want to get too far into the first page before adding the second page, because then you're always going to have this lopsided feel, like you know the first page so much better. So yeah, okay. I would say notes and counting, and then we can work on the other layers next week.
I'm just a little worried about the slurs and getting those in there.
Yeah, totally. Good. Okay. You can do it. You can do it. And just go slow. And also, even if you only get a couple measures of that third line, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Let's go to your rhythm book.
I don't remember. I've used my metronome so much in the last week. I don't remember what speed I got to, but I feel like I got to like 80.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. Right. Oh, I counted the last part right, but I got it right.
Yes, good. Yay, this is great. Okay. So you are rocking these rhythm exercises. I'm very excited. And we have one more page of 5/4, and then we're going to move on to a different time signature. Are you sick of 5/4 yet?
No, I did 9. 9 is a tricky 5/4.
Oh, you did. Okay. Let's hear it then.
Hi. All right. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 1. Oh, wait, that's my question right there.
Okay.
What happens there?
So at the end of the third line into the beginning of the fourth line?
Yeah, the start of the fourth line.
Yeah.
Is that a whole note for 4 counts?
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
Because technically we're in 5/4, so technically you can do that. And so that would be one of the arguments of like counting in 5. That would make more sense, right? We also switch because it's been doing 1 2 1 2 3, and here it switches to 1 2 3 1 2.
Yeah.
So you have 2 measures of 3 in a row, which is fair game.
It was maddening. I was like, what just happened there? And I don't know how long I noticed.
Yeah, but you are correct. Yeah, you are correct. So you hold it for 4.
Okay. I'll pick it up there.
Okay, sounds good.
2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so so this one is tricky because it's kind of the culmination of essentially all the things we've been learning, and then they're taking it and kind of like taking it up a notch. So I don't know. I don't think you're going to need like a whole week devoted just to this one, but do you want to maybe review this for a couple days or maybe sprinkle throughout the week, just so that those few parts that are feeling kind of frustrating get a little bit more comfortable.
I had started playing around with it and I was like, oh, this one's trickier.
Yeah. Okay. And then we can also go on and do number 10.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So let's do that. So we'll, and for number 10, we are in 6/4 time. Yeah. So all of a sudden we're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when you get down to the second line, you can see that they split up measure 1, 2, 3, measure 4. You have into like 3 little measures of 2.
Okay.
And 6/4 time, you're gonna see this is interesting because you can have measures that feel like that, where it's like 3 groups of 2. Then you can also have measures that feel, if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you look at the 5th line, the second measure, see how you have a dotted half note? That one is gonna feel like 2 groups of 3. So it's like we can feel like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or we can feel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So it's kind of confusing, but you see both in here. So if you have the same kind of like, what the heck is happening in this one that you did in the last one, that's what's happening, is that they're switching around like the feel of 6/4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried on 9 when I started playing around with it. I tried switching between counting 2s and 3s and counting 5s.
Uh-huh.
I don't know that I feel like, should one of those be easier when it switches the 2s and 3s back and forth? Because neither one of them stuck out at me as easier.
No, that's fine. That's great. That's what we want to work towards. Like for some people, when they're starting out, one does feel easier, but we want them to feel equal. So that's great. That's really great. That's where we want to be, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Yay. Awesome. Okay. Really great work today. So keep up the great work. And then we keep running out of time to do your 5-finger patterns, but are you still working on them or no?
Yeah, I practiced them. I figured out what A was. I think awesome. I can do all of them. And I just keep trying to practice keeping my fingers glued and rounded.
Perfect. And if you want to we can work on them next week, but if you want another thing to think about, you can practice them with dynamics and also practice like switching between legato and staccato.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Great work. See you next time. Bye.